Baby, I wasn't planning on it. I swear I didn't walk into that room thinking I was going to say your name out loud. But something happened this Thursday. Something inside me cracked, and I couldn't keep hiding it anymore. I've been holding you in my chest like a sacred secret for too long, protecting your memory like it was the last pure thing I had. But this week, they cornered me. They saw it on my face. My mother, my brother, even my cousin. Every single one of them asked me why I've been so distant, so silent, like I'm always somewhere else. And I couldn't lie anymore. Baby, I exposed everything. I told them about you, about what we had, about what you did, about how I still feel. I thought I'd regret it, but the moment your name left my lips, I felt like I could finally breathe again. They asked why I never brought you home, why I spoke your name like a prayer under my breath, but never let anyone meet you. And for the first time, I told the truth. I said it was because what I had with you was real, and I wasn't ready for anyone to ruin it. I said that you were different, that you weren't some girl I was passing time with. I told them how you looked at me like I mattered, how you made me feel like even my worst parts could still be loved. I told them how you made me believe in softness again, and how I destroyed it, trying to be strong. I even admitted that I blamed you for walking away, when deep down, I knew it was me who started shutting doors before you ever had the chance to open them. They were shocked. My mom didn't say a word for a full minute. My cousin looked at me like he was seeing me for the first time, and my brother, he just shook his head and said, "Man, why didn't you just fight for her?" And baby, when he said that, I lost it. I had to step outside. I walked out onto the balcony just to breathe, just to stop my heart from breaking all over again. Because I should have fought for you. I should have stood in front of the world and said, "This is her. This is the one I prayed for when I was broken. This is the woman who taught me how to feel again." But instead, I let my pride speak louder than my love. I let fear of judgment outweigh the truth of my own heart. And now, the truth is out. They know. They all know. And you know what, baby? I don't even care if they judge me anymore. Because for the first time in months, I feel honest. I feel real. But here's the part that hurts the most. I told them what you did. Not in anger, not to shame you, but because I needed them to understand why it still haunts me. I told them about the message you sent, the one I never replied to. I told them how you reached out, how you tried to explain, how I ignored it because I didn't want to admit I was still in love with you. I told them how I threw my phone across the room that night, not because of what you said, but because I knew I'd never stop hoping you to say more. I told them how you tried to love me the right way, but I wasn't ready to receive it. And I told them how I pushed you away with silence and pride, thinking I was protecting myself, when all I did was destroy the only real thing I ever had. They didn't defend me. They didn't say it's okay. They just listened. And for once, I didn't feel like the victim. I felt like the man who made a mistake and finally had the courage to admit it. Baby, I don't know what you're doing right now. I don't know if you still think of me, but if you feel something in your chest, if your heart feels heavy today for no reason, it's because your name was spoken with so much emotion, so much truth. It echoed. It echoed across a room full of people who didn't know what you meant to me, who didn't know that behind every quiet smile I gave them was the memory of your laugh. Behind every polite nod was the ache of wanting to hold you one more time. This Thursday changed everything, not because something external happened, but because I finally allowed myself to speak the truth I've been burying for months. I stopped pretending. I stopped performing. I stopped acting like I've moved on, when the reality is, I've been stuck. Stuck in the last moment I saw you. Stuck in the last word you said. Stuck in the echo of your footsteps walking away from a man who didn't know how to keep you safe. And baby, I've tried. God knows I've tried to erase you. I went on with life. I showed up to dinners. I answered texts. I even laughed sometimes. But nothing felt real. Nothing felt whole. Because you weren't there. And now the people I call family know it too. They see it in me. They feel it when I speak. They understand that I didn't just lose a girlfriend. I lost something sacred. I lost the woman who saw past my coldness, past my silence, past the version of me that even I couldn't love. And you, God, you still looked at me like I was worthy. Do you know what that does to a man? To be seen like that? To be loved like that, and to know you let it go? Baby, this is me saying I'm sorry, not for telling them, but for not telling you sooner, for letting months go by when I could have looked you in the eye and said, you mattered, when I could have dropped the ego, dropped the act and just said, come home. And now I live with the echo. But today, this Thursday, something shifted. Maybe because my soul couldn't carry it anymore. Maybe because the truth has a way of rising, even when you try to drown it. Or maybe, just maybe, it's because you were meant to hear this somehow, somewhere, even like this. Through the wind, through a message, through the ache in your chest that won't quite go away. Baby, I exposed you not to hurt you, and because hiding you was hurting me. And baby, as I sat alone after the conversation ended, I realized something I had been too scared to face until now. I didn't just tell them about you. I finally told myself the truth. That I was never over you. That no matter who came into my life, no matter how much time passed, or how many distractions I wrapped myself in, you were the one my soul kept orbiting. Like gravity, like breath, like something sacred that refused to be erased. I've tried to rewrite the story, tried to convince myself that what we had was just a chapter. But that's the lie I told to make the silence feel easier. That's the lie I repeated so I didn't have to admit how deep your roots ran in me. But this Thursday, when I said your name out loud, something inside me broke. And maybe for the first time, that break felt like healing. Because I wasn't just exposing you to them, I was exposing myself. My regrets, my truth, my mistakes, my heart. And for once, I wasn't ashamed. I wasn't scared of how they'd react. I just knew I couldn't keep pretending that you didn't shape me in ways no one else ever could. I told them you were the reason I started believing in softness again. That you were the voice that lived in my head when I wanted to give up. That even when you were silent, I felt your presence in places I didn't even know I had room for someone. Do you understand what that means? That you became the quiet in my chaos. that when the world was loud, your memory was the only thing that felt like peace. I never told you that. I never told you how many times I almost reached for my phone just to hear your voice. How many nights I opened our old conversations and just stared, praying for a sign that you hadn't let go completely. But I never pressed send. I let my fears speak louder than my love, over and over again. And baby, I paid the price, not with punishment, but with emptiness, an ache that no one else could fill, a silence that no voice could soften. And now, after Thursday, they see it too. My mother looked at me differently, as if she could see something I'd been hiding for far too long. She didn't say much. She never does when something truly matters. But her eyes were wet, and when she touched my shoulder and said, "Maybe it's time you stop punishing yourself," I almost broke, because she was right. I've been punishing myself for what I did, for how I failed you, for how I didn't fight hard enough when it mattered. But mostly, I've been punishing myself for letting you think you didn't matter. You mattered. More than anyone. More than anything. I told them about the look on your face that last night. How your eyes didn't hold anger, only disappointment. Like you wanted to believe in me, but I gave you nothing to hold on to. Like you waited for the version of me I promised, but never delivered. I still see that look in my dreams. And now they do too. Now they understand why I don't talk much anymore. Why I keep to myself. Why I haven't brought anyone else home. Because no one else is home. You were. You still are. I don't know what you'll think if this reaches you. I don't even know if you want to hear any of this. But I need you to know, this wasn't some dramatic outburst. It wasn't me being emotional for a moment. This was a release, a confession, a slow unraveling of a truth I've been suffocating under. And baby, when it came out, it didn't feel like shame. It felt like freedom. Like maybe now, something inside me can start to breathe again. I've lived in the prison of silence for too long. I've watched memories of you pass me like ghosts. I've replayed that one call we had 1,000 times. Your laugh, your pauses, your quiet pain when I didn't say what you needed me to say. And now, I'm done holding back. I'm done pretending I don't still feel it. I'm done lying to myself that I moved on, when my soul has been rooted in you the whole time. So yes, this Thursday, I exposed everything. I told the truth. I let it all out. And now that it's out, I don't want to put it back in. I don't want to go back to silence. I don't want to go back to pretending. And most of all, I don't want to go back to a life that doesn't have you in it. Not even just romantically. I just want you. As you are. As a soul. As a memory. As a presence. As truth. Because you were never just a chapter. You were the turning point. The plot twist. The page that made the whole story matter. And baby, after everything spilled out, I sat in silence. Not because I had nothing left to say, but because the weight of all those unspoken truths finally left my chest. My family didn't know what to say at first. They just watched me. They watched the boy who had mastered hiding every emotion, now crumble under the one truth he could no longer outrun. You. And I think for the first time, they didn't see me as the strong one. They didn't see the version of me who had it all together. They saw the man who lost the love of his life and was still trying to breathe through it. They saw the man who had buried his feelings so deep, even he forgot where he hid them. Until now. Until this Thursday. You see, I wasn't just telling them about you. I was finally telling me about you. I was saying the things I should have said when we still had time. I told them you were the first person who ever saw me fully. That you saw the broken, the scared, the defensive, the uncertain. And instead of running, you stayed. You loved me anyway. Even when I didn't know how to accept it. Even when I didn't know how to give it back the right way. I told them you were the first time my soul felt safe. And baby, that's not something you can fake. That's not something you can forget. They asked me why I waited so long to speak about you, and I didn't know how to explain it. Because how do you explain that you were the only part of my story I wanted to keep hidden? Not because I was ashamed, but because I was afraid someone might ruin it if they got too close. I protected your name like scripture. I carried it like prayer. And now it's out. Now they know. Now everyone knows that the love I lost wasn't just love. It was you. And it hurts to admit that I'm the one who let it slip through my fingers. You were the place my heart returned to in every silent moment. And that day, when I spoke your name out loud again, something shattered and softened all at once. Baby, my voice cracked, my breath stopped, my throat tightened, because the moment I said your name, every memory we had came back like waves crashing at once. I remembered the way you used to say my name like it was your favorite word. I remembered the way your energy shifted every room. And most of all, I remembered the moment I saw your eyes look at me for the last time. Not with anger, but with surrender. That moment lives in me. And now, it lives in them too. They finally understand why I've been quiet, why I've been closed off, why I haven't let anyone in. Not truly. Because there's been no space for anyone else. Because I never cleared you out. Because your energy still lingers in every song, every street, every dream, every heartbeat. And maybe I didn't want to let it go. Maybe some part of me thought if I stayed loyal to the memory of you, then maybe, just maybe, it meant I hadn't failed completely. But I did fail. I failed you, and I failed us. And that is what I told them. But I also told them this, that I still believe in you. That I still believe in the version of us that was untouched by fear, by timing, by pride. That deep down, I believe love like this doesn't vanish. It only goes quiet. It waits. It transforms. And maybe this moment, this Thursday, was heaven's way of asking me, are you finally ready to stop running from what your soul already chose? And the answer, baby, is yes. Yes, I am. I don't know where you are right now. I don't know what you've moved on to. I don't know if you still think of me at 2 a.m. when the room gets too quiet. But I do know this. I've never stopped thinking of you. Not for one single day. And even though I was the one who let go first, I've never stopped reaching for you in the spirit. I've prayed for your peace. I've asked God to send you strength. And yes, I've hoped that maybe your heart could still feel mine, even if only in fragments. So when I told them this Thursday that I had been wrong, that I should have said more, done more, fought harder, I wasn't asking for their pity. I wasn't trying to be the victim. I was just telling the truth for the first time in a long time. And the truth is, I still love you. Not out of habit, not out of nostalgia, but because my soul never unchose you. They were shocked, not just because I said your name, but because I said it with reverence, because I said it like a prayer, because even after all this time my voice still trembled with the weight of what I lost. And now that they've seen it, now that they've heard what's been buried in me all this time, I don't feel like I'm hiding anymore. Baby, I exposed you not to shame you, but to set you free, because you deserved to be spoken about with honor, because you were never a secret. You were sacred, and maybe I'm too late to fix what I broke. Maybe this confession changes nothing in the physical, but spiritually, something has shifted. Something has cracked open, and I can feel it. Something holy is trying to be born from all this pain. And since that moment, baby, I haven't been able to stop thinking about how differently things could have unfolded if I had only spoken sooner, if I had told them back then, when your name still echoed in every part of me, raw and alive. Maybe I wouldn't be sitting here, haunted by the silence I chose. Maybe I would have had the strength to fight for you properly, instead of folding into my fears. I thought I was protecting us by keeping you to myself, but in truth, I was just protecting my pride. And now I realize how cowardly that was, because real love, the kind we had, isn't meant to be hidden. It's meant to be honored, defended, spoken like truth.